What's going on, y'all? My name is Deron Shields, and I'm back for another real movie review. And this time I'll be reviewing Demon Slayer, the Infinity Castle movie. Now, I actually am a Demon Slayer fan. It's actually probably like number 2 on my list of the animes that I've seen. I'm not as diehard as like the people that read the mangas and all that kind of stuff, but I do enjoy a good amount of animes. And Attack on Titan is at my top of my list, but Demon Slayer is a close second, and it's either second or second A. And then Jujutsu Kaisen second B for me. I was definitely looking forward to this movie, and I enjoyed myself a lot actually at this movie. One thing I actually liked is that the movie pretty much got straight into the action. It started off with like a 5 days previous or 5 days ago type of flashback, and then after that it's pretty much action from there on out, and kind of centering around 3 main fights with Zenitsu and his brother, I think, then Shinobu and Doma, and then Tanjiro and Giyu with Akasa. And I guess like the subline name of the movie has saying like the return of Akasa, because he took out Mr. Rengoku in the Mugen Train arc. And side note, a funny story, I also accidentally went to see this in Japanese, so I was reading the subtitles the whole time. It took me about 10 minutes to adjust to that. I've done it before with shows, even at home, when I needed to or when the dub wasn't out yet. After about 10 minutes, I got used to it, and I actually really still enjoyed the film a lot. One of the things I noticed first was how cool a lot of the 3D animation was. I know sometimes Demon Slayer will go into like a 3D kind of parallax with the 2D type of thing. And in the Infinity Castle setting, they got a lot of times to like showcase that kind of 3D, kind of trippy, here, there, up, down, whatever, any direction type of thing with that setting. And I think that really was done well, even with the dust particles. All that looked really like realistic, even though all the characters are all in 2D and all that stuff. And there would even be some like camera moves around the 2D characters that like showed 3D space, but kept them looking, still 2D. It was just well done. I think the animators did a really, really good job on this movie overall. Actually, one of my favorite animations that they did was the Shinobu getting absorbed by Doma, when the view from the inside, when she was struggling against the absorption and all that stuff. The way they made that look was like oddly realistic for like I said, the 2D animation style that is primarily Demon Slayer. I think they really did a really good job of like showcasing the textures and all that stuff in that kind of a moment. One of my favorite concepts throughout the entire movie was the crows vision and their ability to see the different Hashira and their different power level, demons power levels or whatever it was. The way that they illustrated that and kind of showed it from that crow's bird, literally a bird's eye point of view, that like wire frame, almost like Batman's sonar type of thing. That was kind of cool. I liked the way they did that. And then they're reporting back to the children, letting them know what's the latest developments in this big giant fight that's taking place in all these different areas. That was a really cool way that they, made that come across. Every fight scene was really, really well done, and they were extended, but I think it was done well, though. I think it wasn't like just dragging on and on and repetitive. The way that they illustrate the speed and different sound design and all that kind of stuff, they do a really, really good job of immersing the viewer in what the action is. Zenitsu and his brother fighting, and we get a little bit of backstory with his brother as well, and how his brother was not able to do like the first form or something like that of thunder breathing. And then Zenitsu only being able to do the first form for the longest time, and then him, ultimately defeating his brother, and coming up with his own custom thunder breathing style. Was like, okay, I didn't even think that would be an option, but so subverted expectations. Occasionally in some of the fight scenes, it can be so much going on and so much color and everything, that it can be hard to make out exactly what's going on. I felt like that a couple times, but I mean that's just kind of the nature of what it is, and it almost drives home just how fast they're moving. It's like it's not as easy to just track every single thing, and it's not a large complaint at all. It's just at times type of momentary. One like visual tool that I saw them using a couple times was like warm and then like cool light, kind of like I have right here, warm on this side and cool on that side. They did that with Zenitsu and his brother. And they also, I think they did some of that with Tanjiro and Akasa. And I think that is like a visual representation of like opposition and like, you know, being on opposing polar sides of a thing. I think that kind of just drives home that in those scenes they would pose them on the side of that light. So I noticed them doing that a couple of times, and that was kind of a cool like little like under the surface type of thing to be going on to help drive the story and kind of showcase the opposition and the tension going on in this battle. If I had to have any real criticism of the movie, I kind of wish that Tanjiro would have gotten like a one-on-one with Akasa, and I know he's like upper 3 or something like that. But I mean, I feel like Tanjiro is like he's the outlier throughout this whole series. I feel like if anybody could like surprisingly handle a high level demon, it would be him. You know, he got the mark first or whatever, and so he is kind of like the chosen one of this series. So I mean, I feel like it could have made sense if they wanted to go that direction. Like I said, I don't read the manga or anything like that, so I don't know what the actual, you know, what the source material says. But that's just like and that's not even really a criticism. That's just like I wouldn't have minded that being the way that it played out. But the way it did play out, I think it was cool too. Now, my real only criticism is how long-winded some of the backstories were. Like, I didn't even mind so much the fight scenes being a little long, but the backstories, I feel like they really got kind of long-winded and really wanted to like drive home what the demon's like backstory was, especially Akasa. I feel like Akasa's backstory was like 30 minutes, and I get that it's like the return of Akasa, so it's kind of gonna focus on him. But like it felt a little long, you know, in the scene, and it was good. It was like tragic, you know. He was, I think he was like kind of a protector or whatever, and then the people that he would try to protect would end up dying and stuff, and so it was really a good backstory, and I love that Demon Slayer does that. It kind of presents like a moral dilemma to the viewer. It's like you saw him as only as bad for so long, and then right before they are defeated, they show you like their humanity and like what kind of person that they came up and kind of where it went wrong for them. So it's kind of a cool device that Demon Slayer uses all the time with the demons. I like that a lot. But like I said, I feel like they did go a little long. 2.5 hours is quite a feat when it comes to movies. Most movies are an hour and a half or so on average. Longer movies about 2 hours, so 2.5 is a little bit of a stretch, but I think that it was well done. I enjoyed it, you know, start to finish. So that's just a small gripe, you know, as far as the pacing, but overall it really didn't take away from me enjoying the film a lot. So I'm going to give Demon Slayer Infinity Castle 9 reels out of 10. Like I said, my only real criticism was the pacing, how long the movie was. I think some of the things that they spent a lot of time on, they didn't have to spend as much time on. But other than that, like everything else was great. The you know, the animation, obviously, the sound design, the story, all that, the writing. I think all of that was really good, you know, as per usual with Demon Slayer. So I really enjoyed this movie. So if you enjoyed this review, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to do videos like this on movies like this. And let me know if are y'all into anime. Like I'm like moderately an anime guy, but I'm not super deep into it like some are, but I'm definitely willing to do movie reviews for anime films, especially if it's as good as Demon Slayer. So, but yeah, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can see my next review. And other videos that I'll do. I'm a musician. I do all other kind of stuff. So you never know what I might be posting, songs on all that. So thank you for watching my review and stay tuned for whatever comes next. All right.